What is going on, people? Undead Summoner here. Going to drop you guys a guide on Affliction Warlock in patch 7.3.5. It's going to be a PvP guide. Basically, with Affliction, you have two different ways that you can go. You have the single target build, and you have the dot everything build, and just watch it rot. All right, so first thing we're going to go over is going to be the multi-target build, or the single target build, and that's going to be a Malefic Grasp and Contagion. Demonic Circle, I usually run it about 90% of the time unless I'm playing twos. Then I like Mortar Coil because it's a little bit more helpful to set up kills, and damage really isn't that big of an issue. As far as tanking damage, it's pretty easy to just take gate, but Mortar Coil works really, really well. Alright, as far as the level 60 talents go, you can either run Soul Harvest. You can actually run all three. So if you're playing threes and you're going to play the rot spec, where you're dotting everything, and you take Writhe and Agony and Absolute Corruption, you will also take Siphon Life for the rot spec, and then you'll take Sow the Seeds. So the rot spec is going to look like this. Alright, and you're going to run Siphon Life. Basically dot everything. Throw like 1 UA on everything. That way, anytime something's dispelled, healers are getting wrecked. All right, the single target build, it looks like this with Death's Embrace. Don't run Soul Conduit just because you're gonna have plenty of shards. I'm telling you that they're way more common than you think. Single target build is gonna look like either Soul Harvest or Phantom Singularity. Soul Harvest if you want to be a little bit more bursty. Phantom Singularity gives you a little bit more survivability with the heal, and it's only on a 40-second cooldown, so the damage is not too bad either, and as well as hitting everyone around you. Level 75 talent for both specs, you're going to take Demon Skin. It's pretty much the only way to go. I like taking Grimoire of Service all the time, simply because having 2 spell locks is freaking awesome. You can lock this guy out with this pet, and then you can instantly summon another one and lock him out in his second school. So it works very, very well. As far as honor talents go, we're going to go with obviously Gladiator's Medallion and Mind Quickness. You're just always going to run these two. The third talent tree is the one that you literally get to switch out every single game if you want to. Curse of Fragility is going to help your team burst a little bit better with dropping that target's health by 20%. Curse of Weakness is going to save you quite a bit for those melee comps that are just tunnel vision, training you into the ground by reducing the damage they deal by 25%. That's really, really helpful. Curse of Tongues, obviously for casters, if maybe there's a Destro lock on the other team and you just want his bolts to just take forever to cast. It works very, very well. So these three are going to be depending on what you're playing against. If I'm playing twos, a lot of the time I'll take Fragility just because it does help you burst quite a bit because the target doesn't have as much life. Fourth row, Essence Drain, Casting Circle, and Netherward. If there is any kind of CC that can be done to you, I usually take Netherward 80% of the games. If there's a DK, if there's a Demon Hunter, this can actually reflect their kick. So their Mind Freeze and their the Demon Hunter's kick, you can actually reflect this. So you can actually use this to, like, as you're bursting, pop Netherward so that you don't end up getting kicked. You can use it kind of like an unending resolve. It just doesn't last very long, 5 seconds or so. But Netherward also reflects anything, so it's pretty awesome. I take either Netherward, and if you don't want to run Netherward, then you'll run Essence Drain. The stacking damage reduction is pretty nice. Okay, I like to run Nightfall almost all the time, just because every once in a while someone's taken off running around a pillar and you just wish you could double corruption those 2 people that are behind the pillar, so you instant cast the Nightfall proc. It'll throw corruption on everybody behind the pillar. Works very, very well. So you don't have to cast Seed of Corruption. You could also run Soul Shatter. I see people in openers, they go out and they put like a corruption on everyone. Just corruption, 3 people. And then they'll Soul Shatter it, and then they'll just start bursting because you have the haste buff. I've seen it done, and it looks really, really nice. I've played it myself in twos. It's not too bad. But I do prefer Nightfall myself. And the last row, we have Curse of Shadows, Rot and Decay, and Gateway Mastery. For threes, the majority of the time you will play Gateway Mastery just because the cast time on it is reduced. It goes a little bit farther. People can use it quicker. It's all around helps the team out more. Rot and Decay will give you a little bit more damage as you're holding down the Drain Light or the Drain Soul. It will keep adding 1 second onto your dots, which is fantastic, especially when someone's running around a pillar and you have Drain Soul on them. Works really, really well. So that is it for honor talents and regular talents. Let's go over some of the macros that I have for Warlock. I think just important ones / macro. That is my burst macro. I usually swap it out with Soul Harvest. If I'm playing Soul Harvest, I'll put the tooltip as Soul Harvest. I have Spell Lock 1, 2, and 3. And this also has Shadow Lock in it, so if I'm using the Doom Guard, it'll Shadow Lock as well. But one thing that I do like in my Arena 1 Spell Lock, I do have if it exists. I don't know if you see that compared to the second one. So what that allows me to do is, if I'm in an arena, it will Spell Lock Arena 1. If I'm not in arena and I'm just world PvPing out in the wherever, I can actually Spell Lock and I don't have to have another bind to CS somebody that's not in an arena. So that's why I put it at number 1. So it's in there with my Arena 1, so that works really good. All right, we got Fear 1, 2, and 3. So I also do the same thing with my Fear. So if it exists, if the target exists, it will Fear Arena 1. If it doesn't exist, I can Fear somebody out in the world. All right, we have a Mouse over Banish. This works really good. Just hover your mouse, banish the shit out of something. This is going to be the Grimoire of Sacrifice focus target macro. So let's say this Rebellious Wrath dude was my focus target. We could be targeting whoever, this guy. And if I were to hit F, it will Spell Lock this guy. Bing, see? All right. So that macro looks like that. I have a Devour Magic macro for the pet. I also have Devourer Macro 1, 2, and 3, just like I have Fear 1, 2, and 3. So you can use the Fear macro the same place and just change the name, put it there. This is my pet attack macro. I can either mouse over it or just send him to whatever arena target that I have him at. I also have arena target 1, 2, and 3 if you guys would like to see those. This one is arena target 1, 2, and 3. I have an agony macro. What this does, it just uses my artifact weapon, the Reap Soul, every time that I press agony. So basically saves me a key binding. Works pretty good. And I have Kill Jaden's Burning Wish in there too. Let's see what else we got. Okay, here's the Devour macros. Okay, Doom Guard macro. This is going to be a cursor macro for the Doom Guard, which means wherever I have my mouse set at is where it's going to spawn the Doom Guard at. Same thing with the Infernal. So let's say you're getting trained by a melee and this is the melee and you wanted to summon the Infernal to stun this guy. So instead of there being a casting circle on the ground, it's just going to instantly summon him like so. Boom. Just like that without there being a casting circle. Works really good. What else do we have? I have Summon Imps or a Summon Imp. I have a Hellstone macro. Okay, what else? This is just a Summon Fellhunter macro. If I want to silence the target that I'm currently targeting, I'll just use this one. I have it right here, and it locks whatever I'm looking at. I also have the focus one to lock the focus. That looks like about it for macros and talents. And I don't want to drag this video on forever, but we can go over like a basic rotation for Affliction. You're going to want to throw Agony down first, then you're going to want to throw your Corruption, then, I don't know, pop all your Swifty macro, and then start spamming UA, 3, 4, and then Drain. Really not much else to it. You're going to want to do a lot of fake casting as Affliction, so whenever you're using your UAs, try to bait kicks. So if you bait a really nice kick, you'll burst after you get the kick. And basically just dot everything and put UAs on whatever you can hit, because trust me, if you're playing Affliction correctly, people are going to be running from you. It's just the way it is. Save your health stone for when you're 20-30% life and your healer's in a CC. Pop your health stone and it'll save your life. Other than that, try not to use Unending Resolve as offensive, because it's pretty much your only defensive aside from maybe Mortar Coil and Fear. But if you can avoid it, don't just pop all your cooldowns and then Unending Resolve just to try to get some damage off. Do your best to juke a couple kicks first. That way, whenever your healer does get stuck in a crazy CC later on in the game, you do have Unending Resolve to get away, or port, or whatever the case may be. Also works pretty good. I also have a port macro. Let me see. Where's the port macro? This is my at cursor gate macro. So if I have mouse scroll up and I just put my mouse over here, it'll just I have the legendary legs, but it would cast the gate wherever your mouse is at. And then portal macro, what this does is it cancels the portal and then resummons it again. So like if I want to put a port down here, it'll instantly put a port. If I want to cancel that port and put another one, you press it again, it will cancel it and put another one. Pretty awesome macro. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I'll show you guys a brief clip of one of the games I played the other day. It was, I think, a Feral Druid. I pretty much 100 to 0'd him in a lockout, 1 silence, so that you guys can kind of see what single target Affliction burst damage can be. It's very, 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 very awesome. And then the rot spec is freaking disgusting as well, especially in 3s. But yeah, guys, you guys have a good one. Enjoy the video. Check me out on Twitch if you get time. See y'all later. Bye. Yeah.